Welcome back, learners. So in previous section, we understood what is working capital and what is working capital management. We have seen various concepts of working capital management. We have also discussed determinants of working capital management. We learned about various policies related to working capital management, and we have also seen the short term funds from the sources from where the short term funds can be raised for working capital management. So in this section, we will move ahead with various aspects or various applications of working capital management. So in this session, we are going to discuss about cash management, inventory management and receivable management. So let us see these three aspects one by one. So let's start with cash management. So cash management is nothing but the art of synchronizing cash receipts and cash payments for effective cash utilization in the firm. Just like in the previous session, I mentioned that we need to maintain a proper level of working capital so that we should not fall short of working capital requirement, but at the same time we should not have abundance or excess working capital with us. So adequate or inadequate, these two situations are extreme, but we need to balance between these two. We need to have that trade-off between these two situations. This is what we learned in working capital management, and we need to follow the same in case of cash management. So cash management consists of payment, credit sales, purchases on credit and receipt of credit amount. Cash management is basically concerned with managing of cash inflow and outflow of the firm, cash flow within the firm and cash balance held by a firm at the point of time by financing deficit or investing surplus cash. It can be represented by cash management cycle. So in the previous session, we learned what is operating cycle. Similarly, in this case, we have this cash management cycle. So the time period in which or during which we are able to manage our cash. We need to make a balance between these two, because again excess of cash is a problem because our funds are lying idle, they are not giving us anything in return, and shortage of fund is also a problem because suddenly if some demand arises, we don't have enough funds to meet those demands. Okay, so we need to maintain a balance. Cash is more important than any other current asset because it is needed to pay the firm's obligations, and cash budgets are prepared to avoid any such problem in cash management. Cash may consist of currency, checks, drafts, demand deposits or any other marketable security. That means anything which can be immediately convertible into cash can be defined as cash or can be termed as cash in accountancy as well as in finance. Now, there are certain motives behind holding cash. Why companies or organizations consider to hold cash? They need to hold cash for some transactional motive. That means for their day-to-day functioning. You immediately need to purchase some raw material, you need to pay electricity bill or maybe to and fro charges. These kind of transaction motives that makes a company functional, or a day-to-day requirement of cash is there, and for that purpose we need to hold cash, and this is called transactional or transaction motive of holding cash. Then at times we hold cash in order to create a net against any kind of problem or any kind of situation which is not seen, unforeseen situation. So when such situation is there or such requirement of cash is there, that means we are holding cash with precautionary motive. We are taking precautions just in case some situation will arise. We have some buffer cash with us so as to cater that situation. Then third situation is speculation motive. So suddenly if you are getting some investment advice or some investment opportunity wherein you can invest immediately in order to get some return, good return. So this is the case when you are actually speculating. So sometimes you hold cash in order to speculate. So when we are holding cash for using the cash in such situation to create excess return for us, then that means we are holding the cash with speculation motive. And then sometimes there are certain obligations. That means there is a mandate from bank that you need to maintain this much amount of cash with you. Okay, so if such situation is there, then it is an obligation, this is a necessity because of which we need to maintain cash in the bank account. Okay, so these are the motives why we are holding cash. Then there are certain objectives of cash management. Why do we need to manage cash? Because we need to meet the payment on scheduled time. So if you are not able to meet the payments on scheduled time, it may play against your goodwill in the market. People may not ready to give you credit in future. So just to avoid such situation, we need to manage our cash in proper way, and also to minimize cash balance to avoid idle funds. So such situation should also not arise that I have a buffer cash, I have good amount of cash lying in my home or in my office which is of no use to me, and if I am not putting it to proper use, I am not able to earn anything out of that idle cash. So in order to avoid both of these situations, again two extremes, we should manage cash, and this process is known as cash management. Now there are certain factors that require cash, that determines the requirement of cash as well. That is cash inflow and cash outflow. How much amount is coming in and how much amount is going out on a regular basis. Cost of cash balances, that means cost of carrying and cost of not carrying. Okay, if you are holding cash with you, then what is the cost? That means opportunity cost, something that you are losing, and cost of not carrying. If you are not holding cash, then also if certain situation will arise wherein you have to pay the cash, what will be the cost you have to pay, additional cost that you need to pay. Okay, so that this is called cost of cash balancing. And then cash cycle, in how much time you are able to convert your securities or your receivables into cash. Okay, so these are the factors that determines the requirement of cash. As I mentioned earlier, for management of cash, we need to prepare cash budgets. This is something we have learned when we have studied management accounting, making budgets. So one aspect was cash budgeting. This is something that identifies the period of shortage of cash and period of surplus of cash. Okay, so there might be periods wherein we are falling short of cash, but there might be period when we are having excess cash with us. Now it helps the firm to take advantage of cash discounts as well. It prevents the firm from having excess accumulation of fund at some point of time. It procures funds on the most favored terms, which are in your favor. It plans the schedule of firm for an even and continuous flow of funds throughout the year so that it does not face shortage. There are different methods of cash budgeting. This is what we have learned in accounting. There may be receipt and payment method. There may be adjusted income method or sensitivity analysis method. So these are the three methods that are generally used for preparing cash budgets. Now when we are talking about cash management, there are certain models which are prescribed in past which helps us in determining optimum cash balance. So one of such model is Baumol's model, which was given in year 1952, and this model is based on economic order quantity model of inventory. Okay, we will also learn about economic order quantity model in today's session. So there is a formula which was given by Baumol, that is square root of 2 ut divided by I. Okay, square root of 2 ut divided by I, where u is number of units that we need to purchase, t is the transaction cost, and this amount has to be divided by I, that is rate of interest, and the square root of this. The value that we receive is optimum cash balance that we need to maintain at one point of time. Okay. The Baumol model can be explained with the help of this diagram, wherein on x-axis we have cash balance, on y-axis we have cost. Okay. We have holding cost which is increasing as the cash balance in our account is increasing. Then we have transaction cost which is reducing when we are reducing the cash balance, when we are able to increase the cash balance in our account. But the total cost comprises of these two costs, holding cost and transaction cost. And the point at which we are able to minimize the total cost of maintaining cash, is the situation which is ideal for us. This is the situation of optimum cash balance. Okay, and this amount can be calculated by the formula which I just now told you. Let us see this with the help of one example. Now, if the monthly cash requirement of a company is 4,000 and the transaction cost is rupees 6, interest rate on marketable securities is 8%, we need to find out the optimum cash balance in this case. Simply placing the values in the formula, that is 2 multiplied by 40,000 because this was the cash requirement, okay, multiplied by 6 because this was the transaction cost, divided by 8%, this was the interest rate. It has to be divided by 12 because the requirement that we have shown was 40,000, that is monthly requirement. Okay. So, by solving this equation, we will get the value as 8,528 rupees and 27 paisa. So, holding cash at the least cost is when the optimum cash balance is 8,528 rupees approximately. So, this is the ideal cash balance or optimum cash balance that this company needs to maintain, which requires approximately 40,000 rupees per month. So, this was our Baumol's model. The next model of optimum cash balance that we need to maintain is Miller and Orr model. It is an expansion of Baumol's model. Now, when the balance is high, this model says when the balance is high, the cash should be invested in marketable securities. So, now when you have excess amount with you, you better invest it in marketable securities because marketable securities can be easily convertible into cash whenever the requirement is there. And when the cash balance is low, the marketable securities can be easily sold, okay, and we can easily get the cash. Miller and Orr model can also be explained with the help of this diagram, okay, where on x-axis we have time and on y-axis we have cash balance. So, we can see that from extreme left, when the amount of cash balance is increasing and you have excess amount of cash with you. So, in that case, we should go and purchase the securities. So, in the later part of the diagram, we can see when the amount of cash balance is reducing. Now, you are not having good amount of cash with you. So, in that case, you can easily sell these marketable securities in the market and convert this amount into cash and use it for normal functioning of your business. So, this is what Miller and Orr model told us. Miller and Orr model have also given one formula which can be used for calculating average cash balance that need to be required at some point of time. So, this formula is optimum cash balance can be equal to cube root of 3f into sigma square divided by 4r plus L. Okay, here L is low control limit of cash balance. It is the minimum amount of cash balance which should be maintained. Sigma square, sigma is the representative of variance, and by placing these values in the formula, we will get the value of C, which is optimum cash balance. Okay, for average cash balance, we can use this value C in another formula for calculating average cash balance, and we may have 4 C minus L upon 3. By using this formula, we can calculate average cash balance. So, this was the formula which was given by Miller and Orr for calculating optimum cash balance and average cash balance that need to be maintained by a company at some point of time. So, this was about cash management. Moving ahead to inventory management. Now, what is inventory? Inventory consists of raw material, work in progress and finished goods. A financial manager has to assess the right quantity of inventory required by the firm. So, just like I mentioned in the case of cash management, we need to maintain proper amount of cash so that we should not go into any of the extreme situation. Similarly, we need to maintain a good amount of inventory or an ideal amount of inventory in the company so that again we would not fall into any of the extreme situation. So, inventory must be controlled because losses may arise if not safely and properly stored. If the inventory is not stored properly or safely, we may suffer losses. Too much inventory is purchased at some point of time. So, if you are purchased too much inventory, now you have to store this inventory and you have to pay storage cost. Okay. If the inventory is stolen or wasted, so in any of such situation there may be huge losses that a company may suffer. So inventory management is required to reduce such kind of losses. If I clearly specify the objectives of inventory management, it is required to minimize the firm's investment in inventory. It is also required to ensure smooth flow of material in production and sales operations, and to have an optimum inventory level through a trade-off between the cost and benefit of storing and not storing inventory in the firm. Inventory management also has certain benefits. Okay, holding inventory having certain benefits, like benefits in case of production, benefits in case of purchase, benefits in case of sales. Although there are many advantages of holding inventory, there are many costs which are associated with it. A firm should invest in inventory after considering all such costs. Okay, so there may be cost of holding inventory. Cost of holding inventory includes carrying cost. It is the cost which is incurred for maintaining inventory. Okay, such costs vary with size and volume of inventory. Okay, then there are two types of carrying cost we have. One is storage cost and another is cost of financing. Storage costs consist of rent paid for maintaining the inventory, for example insurance, security of inventory. Okay, while cost of financing is an expense for locking up your funds. Okay, it is not just that you have invested or you have purchased the inventory. One cost that you are paying is you have buffer inventory with you, you have to store it. Okay, storage cost we have to bear, but at the same time when you have buffer inventory, your amount is also blocked. Your funds are also locked in this. This may lead to cost of opportunity, cost loss for investing funds. So you might have better opportunity or better option available with you wherein you can invest the funds. Then third thing we have is ordering cost. Okay, this is something we call it cost of not carrying the inventory. Okay, now if you are not carrying the inventory, you are not storing the inventory, that means you have to repeatedly need to place the order for acquiring the inventory. So this is the cost that is fixed per unit irrespective of order volume. So if you are ordering less volume, then also you have to pay this amount. If you are ordering very good high volume of inventory, then also you have to pay this fixed amount. So this is the cost of purchasing and handling an order, such as requisition cost, cost of transporting, etc. This cost increases with number of orders. So when the number of orders are increasing, number of orders are too high, that means for every order you have to pay ordering cost. Okay, now if the firm maintains a high level of inventory, the number of orders will reduce, but carrying cost will increase. Okay, then there are certain hidden costs also. This is also cost of not carrying the inventory. So cost of ordering and cost of carrying have to be balanced. Now we need to balance between these two. When inventory increases in a firm, then the cost of carrying increases and the cost of ordering decreases. Okay, and the vice versa situation is also there. So a trade-off between carrying cost and ordering cost will bring about an optimum inventory level in the firm. Hidden cost arises when the demand for material arises, but the level of inventory of that material is completely finished. This is called stock out level. Okay, this is again a dangerous level, because in that case your facilities are idle. You are not able to use your machinery and labor properly because you are stock out. Okay, when such cost arises, it can be said that it is an opportunity lost because of not carrying inventory. The stock out situation can be avoided by maintaining safety level of stock. Now there are techniques for inventory management as well. Inventory management involves balancing the benefits and cost of maintaining inventory. These techniques are to be managed by financial manager, and a financial manager achieves this task by following any of these techniques: ABC analysis, economic order quantity, reorder level or minimum level of stock. Most popular amongst these is economic order quantity. Okay, so we will talk about economic order quantity. It is important to assess the annual requirement and determine the economic order quantity or number of times material should be bought in 1 year and the quantity that is purchased in each lot. So, everything, every type of cost we have discussed so far under inventory management. All of these costs are covered by economic order quantity, whether it is cost of carrying inventory or cost of not carrying inventory. Now, this model, economic order quantity model, helps us in maintaining a balance between these. The economic order quantity would help to provide a trade-off between cost and benefit. Okay, it identifies the level of inventory which minimizes the total inventory cost. EOQ considers both ordering cost as well as carrying cost, and the minimum level of total cost is considered to be EOQ, right. So, EOQ model can be understood with the help of this example, like on x-axis we have size of order, on y-axis we have cost. So, when the size of order is increasing, the carrying cost is also increasing, okay. But when the size of order is increasing, the cost of order is falling, okay, and the combination of these two makes our total cost. And the purpose of using this EOQ model or purpose of cash management is to reduce the total cost. So, the point at which the level of ordering inventory at which we are able to achieve the low cost, low total cost is the ideal situation for us, and this is suggested by EOQ model. So, there is a formula for EOQ as well, economic order quantity, that needs to be calculated as well, that is square root of 2UO divided by C. Okay. Here U is quantity of units purchased or required in a year. It is similar to the formula of ideal cash management, Baumol formula of cash management. O is cost of placing an order and C is cost of carrying one unit. Okay. So, this can also be understood with the help of an example. Now, a firm is planning its annual consumption and its annual requirement are 12,000 units. Now, the carrying cost per unit is rupees 10 and its ordering cost per unit is rupees 40. Now, firm can place order of inventories in various lots like 12,000, 6,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,500, 1,200, 1,500, 300, 200, 100. So, if a company want to order 12,000 units, they can go and order in one lot of 12,000 units, and they may also go and order 100 units in one order. So, in this way they can order 120 times. So, which of these quantity is economic order quantity? This is what we need to calculate. Simply we will place the values in this formula, that is 2 multiplied by 12,000, this is the annual requirement, multiplied by 40, okay, which is the cost of placing one order, divided by 10, this is the cost of carrying one unit. Square root of this value and the amount is 309 units. That means optimum order size should be 310 units. If we are ordering 310 units in one order, this is the situation when we can minimize the total cost of maintaining inventory, including both ordering as well as carrying cost. Okay, this was all about cash management. The next thing we have is receivable management. So, what are accounts receivable? These are trade credit that arises when a firm sells its products and services on credit and does not receive cash immediately. That means we are doing credit sales. A firm grants trade credit to protect its sales from competitors and to attract potential customers to buy its product at favorable terms. So, this is a kind of obligation for us. If we are not giving credit sales, if we are not selling on credit, it may be possible that our sales may fall down. Okay, so in that case we are doing this kind of, we are using this as marketing tool so that our sales will expand. Okay, but again we need to maintain a balance in this case also, and this is known as receivable management. This is analysis of sales made by company on credit. These are the policies based on collection cost, credit standards, investment in receivables and sales volume of the firm. The objective of receivable management includes analyzing the cost of receivables, We need to evaluate the benefits of receivable by establishing the cost benefit analysis. We have to maintain a trade-off between profitability and liquidity. We need to prepare a credit policy by analyzing credit standards and credit terms like credit period and discount. And we need to evaluate and control our receivables. So these were the reasons, these were the objective why we are maintaining our receivables, why we need to manage our receivables as well. Okay. Then there are certain costs which are associated with receivable management as well. That is cost of financing. Okay. If you are continuously doing credit sales, you need funds for your functions as well. Okay. From where you are able to arrange those funds. Then there may be collection on or administrative costs. So when you are giving credit, you need to go and suffer some minor cost as well in order to get that amount which you have given as credit to be collected back to you. Okay. Then there may be some delinquency or cost of default as well. Okay. There might be a situation when your debtors are converted into bad debts. Okay, this is also become the cost of receivable. So cost of receivable can be represented or can be understood with this example, where on x-axis we have credit period, on y-axis we have the cost. So the total cost of financing includes administrative or collection cost, delinquency cost, cost of default. Okay. So there are certain advantages of receivable management. First, it will increase our revenue, and when our revenue is increasing, our profit will indeed increase. Okay. And then just like we have studied under your cash management, inventory management, and now in the case of receivable management, that we need to do cost benefit analysis. That means if we are following very stringent policy, our sales may fall, but when we are following very liberal policy, our credit may go up, and it may take us to a situation when we are falling short of current assets. Okay. So we need to again maintain a balance between two, and this balance of profitability and liquidity. Okay. And where these two things are intersecting, that is our optimum level. So this is our optimum credit policy that we need to maintain. Right. So this was all about receivable management. Okay. So this is all for today's lecture, today's session. Now as we come to the end of our section on working capital management, let us take a moment to revisit the key points that we have covered today. Working capital management is a critical aspect of any business, ensuring the right balance between maintaining enough resources for daily operations and avoiding unnecessary cost. It directly impacts a company's liquidity, profitability, and overall financial stability. Today we started by understanding the concept of working capital and why we are managing it effectively and why it is essential to manage this working capital. Whether it's keeping the business running smoothly, preparing for unexpected expenses, or creating opportunities for growth, working capital forms a backbone of efficient financial management. We then explored the specific component of working capital, that is cash management, inventory management, and receivable management. Cash management is the heart of working capital. Managing cash well ensures that the business has enough liquidity to meet its obligations, pay employees, and seize growth opportunities. A well thought out cash management strategy helps us in avoiding shortfalls and unnecessary borrowing. While in inventory management, we learned about maintaining the right amount of inventory, enough to meet customer demand without tying up too much capital in unsold stocks. Efficient inventory management minimizes storage cost and reduces waste while ensuring smooth production and sales process. And the last thing that we have discussed today was receivable management. In this, we discussed the importance of receivable management in speeding up the cash inflow. Collecting payments on time while maintaining good relationship with customer is delicate balance between crucial for healthy cash flow. Together, these components show how working capital management is not just about numbers. It is about making practical decisions that support the overall health and success of the business. To conclude, mastering working capital management is like steering the ship of a business. When done well, it keeps the organization on course, able to navigate challenges and seize opportunities. So, as future managers, business leaders, or entrepreneurs, you have a tool to apply these principles to real world situations, helping businesses running efficiently and grow sustainably. Thank you for being part of today's session. I hope the insights shared today have added value to your understanding and will guide you in your professional journey. See you again very soon with a new course and new concept. Till then, happy learning.